used up all the new batteries when you were talking the other night. Oh, that's
Is
right.
that the recording?
Yeah, this is the recording one.
So 11 is 2. Glasses? The recording ones that, what is it, the metal ones, the metal that record. No? Yep. Yep. You don't wanna wear them in here? Yeah, you don't wanna wear them in here? It's already recorded anyway. Public meeting. We record everybody.
You're part of the conversation. So one party.
Just tells me exactly who you are as a person.
If you ever walk by and see cans sitting there, it's one of these tourists nearby. Brandon Sherlin.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. The great, just the.
Yeah. Oh, I probably won't be around Wednesday for about a week. Crimson's having major surgery Wednesday morning. Major surgery? 3 hours. I have to fix your door. Really? Long story short, like, you have to take a hole, move it, and then dissect some of her guts. Inside.
All right, Mike's gonna be live for the 6 o'clock.
Oh, should
Good
have put
evening,
my
everybody.
shirt
It's
up higher.
6 o'clock PM. My mic is not on, but
I don't need one. Welcome to our budget public hearing. It's 6 o'clock PM on March 26th. I'm calling the Ross Township Board Special Board Meeting to order. I'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Clerk. You may proceed with the roll call.
Trustee Beeks,
Here.
Trustee Harmon,
Here.
Trustee Langshaw. Supervisor Hutchings,
Here.
Trustee White,
Here.
Treasurer Wiersma,
Here.
Clerk Stage here.
Thank you so much. We are all here so we can update the agenda. It's been a little crazy in our township this past week, and I had to revise the agenda a couple different times. I know that we have a need to add a technology quote in there that was emailed to everybody, so you should have already reviewed it, and that is to help us survive the next power outage. We do have the police agreement for review, and Clerk Stage has 3 sets of minutes. Do we Are we
Last set
guaranteed
of-
to have the right one in our packet?
The last one that I put in front of everybody is the last version.
Is there anything else that needs to be added to the agenda?
Can you put those above the budget so we review everything before we get to the, because they're going into new item, right? Not the minutes.
Correct. They're going into new business.
So let's put them just above the budget.
The technology,
Technology and the police agreement.
Before the budget public hearing. Thank you.
under new, are you talking about under new business?
Business,
Okay, under new business, above the Ross Fire Department and everything else, you want those?
I don't care where they go, as long as they
Okay.
sit above the budget.
Okay,
Trustee Langshaw, what did you want to add?
No, I didn't want to add anything. I said the consent agenda or the minutes, correct?
New business. Yep, yep,
yes.
yep. Did I say consent agenda? I apologize if I
No,
said.
the minutes go in the consent,
We
so
didn't
we're
get
adding
there
the
yet.
minutes to the consent agenda, we're adding the technology and the police agreement into new business.
Thank you for clarifying. We have motion and support to add the minutes to the consent agenda and all the other items to the new business ahead of the Ross Augusta Fire Department 5-year plan discussion. Is there any further discussion?
Where is the public hearing on this agenda if it was identified separately?
We will, when we get into the budget, I will be opening the public hearing when we discuss the budget.
Plus, give people a chance to get here in case they're running late.
Correct. Thank you. But thank you for clarifying. That's going to have to be an additional motion to open and close a public hearing. Help me with that. Thank you.
Okay, so we have you making the motion to accept the agenda with changes, and trustee Langshaw supporting that?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. I'd be seeking a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Make that motion.
I do have a question. When we're accepting this consent agenda and we have the various budget exhibits, that doesn't mean we're just accepting the fact that the budget exhibits are in front of us today, not
Right.
that there's any decisions made on
Right.
it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying
I'll
that.
second it.
We have a motion and support to accept the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving into citizen comment, we have 3 minutes for any individual to address the Ross Township Board. I'll pull up my clock. The podium mic is on. Please speak up. The meeting is being recorded for YouTube. We would appreciate if you would clearly state and spell your last name for the minutes. We do not want your home address. Comments are strictly limited to 3 minutes. Citizen comment is designed for one-way commentary to address the board. All citizens providing comments should address the remarks to the supervisor or board chair, who may respond to provide brief factual information. Board members will refrain from speaking during citizen comment, and if citizens need specific assistance, please contact Ross Township during business hours for additional guidance or information. Would anybody like to address the board on their 3 minutes? There being no comments from the public, I'm closing public comment. Moving into do business, we'll be starting with the, we're going to put the guys underneath the things that we just added. Sorry, guys. That means you just get to stay and talk longer. So we're going to move into the police agreement or the minutes, or I'm sorry, the police agreement or the InfoSec quote. So anybody have any discussion regarding that information?
You want to just give just a brief overview on the InfoSafe quote on what it's,
So, as we all know, I fought with technology the last time we met, and what had happened is over the weekend we had a power outage. And when the power went down, there was, and I'm not a technology person, but there was a hiccup with the server, and the server lost all of the data in the boot, I guess. So what he indicated was that The loss caused disruption in equipment in both the office and the server room. We did have Becky's workstation was completely redone, but we didn't know until Tuesday that the black box and the laptop and the internet in the conference room was also down. So when when Jason came in, he said, while the facility does have a generator, we believe it has been spotty in performance at best, given numerous township employees had their computers offline on Monday. It is clear to us that the generator switchover time is not fast enough to stop devices from going down even during a momentary lapse of power or surge. To address this, we recommend purchasing and installing a CyberPower UPS battery backup and surge protector specifically dedicated for the server rack. So his belief as our technology coordinator is that this battery backup and surge protector will ensure that all the equipment in our server room is on a battery backup, protecting against power outages and surges. And I asked him to provide a quote for the board to consider and the proposed equipment that would need to be purchased to go in on the server rack, and that is the quote. So I would be asking for the board to approve two pieces of hardware and the labor to install, and the total request is $591.41. And he indicated labor for the install should be under 2 hours.
A couple of questions. InfoSafe is our normal vendor.
Yes.
They would be the ones with the most expertise. And I guess with that information, I would be comfortable not getting an additional quote on that at $591. So I'll make the motion that we go ahead and purchase that equipment and have it installed at $591.
Thank you, sir.
I'll support.
So trustee Langshaw beat you to
sorry.
it.
Sorry.
So we have support, motion and support to accept the quotation as provided and not get additional bids. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. So we'll order that squared away. So perfect. Thank you for that.
Know what the runtime is on this thing? Like, say the generator didn't pop on, how long does it?
I can ask. I can ask.
Does our generator fire up on a weekly basis to?
I test weekly on Wednesday afternoons.
On Wednesday? Okay.
I'll
But
ask.
we would probably know there's a power outage of more than 2 days, right? So really, I think what we're looking for is like maybe 5 days as an answer.
No,
Is that-
the generator will kick on. This is gonna be like probably an hour or at the most, because it's
Battery
just,
backup, though, could be for days, I think, right?
this is just to keep everything running
Assuming, I don't
until the generator.
Right,
done.
but when you look around, there are little red outlets, and those little red outlets are the ones that the generator's gonna run. I do not know, without going into the server room, if there's a red outlet in there, that the generator's gonna run on that. So now that I feel like I need to go find that out, because we lost power with our security system, and we drained the EPS battery that is on our security system. So we had to get that, and that only had a shelf life of, I think, 3 days. So they had to come out and give us a brand new battery pack.
So those critical things would say, hey, that's what we need to make sure is into an outlet, or we need to add an outlet for the generator, because you're not going to buy a battery backup unless you then connect the battery backup to the generator. So when the generator comes up, it continues to charge it.
Right.
It's just intended to
Right.
bridge the gap for that,
So I'll look into that, and then I'm sure everybody's figured out that our crawler out front is not working. So when it got really chilly, I don't know if it froze, but Mary Carol and I have shut off her data point in her office. I've killed it at the breaker box, fired it back up, and I just haven't called them to come out and look at it. But it's been not working since we had that frigid week. So we've just had some technology issues. I'm sorry, that's what I call it, the sign out front.
Oh, all right. Got it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Electric crawler. All right, got it, the sign.
The message crawler out front. Apologize for that. So there's your technology update. So thank you for moving that forward.
Thank you.
And then moving into the police services agreement. That was already sent out to everybody. If anybody has any comments or discussion on that. I know that the police chiefs have been working on that. And Martin isn't here, but if you
I
have
do
any
have a
questions.
few
you can-
questions. So I looked through it and, I just zeroed in on the compensation part, right? Where we're going to pay for the 8 hours up front. And then after that, if even it's a 5-minute call, it's worth an hour. And if it's over an hour, it's $62. Did we go back and take a look at what our costs would be on the calls that they made, say, over the last 6 months? Because I didn't see anything like that in the package.
No, I
But-
think,
I'd like to know that because I don't want to trade $2,500 for a $10,000 bill.
sure.
And we have their record, and we know that it would be at least 1 hour per call. And I don't know if they're keeping track. And then I don't know if there are ways to prioritize when they come into Ross Township, because obviously, if they're going to write a speeding ticket in Ross Township, they get $125. We get nothing, right?
No, it stays in our jurisdiction.
No, we were going to pay them to write the ticket. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
'Cause
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So we would pay them the 125, and even if it stays in our jurisdiction, what do we get, $8 or $9 back or something? So I'm just looking for a study. And again, I think the last 6 months, you have a winter, you have a fall in that. And I don't know if you want to go back 9 months, you have a summer. We know that they are in Ross Township a lot. It was a great deal we had at $2,500 all in. We know that. But I just like to know what the difference is because we should be prepared for that in
Sure.
the budget.
Okay, are you asking if there was anything else charged over the last
No,
couple
I'm
months?
looking at,
besides-
let's say they made 21 calls to Ross Township per the police report. If every one of those were a, what do you want to call it, less than a 1 hour deal, you'd be at that number, whatever number I just said, times the $125. Whether it's 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 59 minutes, but it'd be $180 if it was 61 minutes. You know what I mean? So
Okay, so you want to go back and look at how many calls they made in here over the last 6 months to figure out whether or not this is a deal?
well, before I could be comfortable with it,
Oh, right.
speaking
No,
from
no,
a
no,
board member, yeah.
I
right.
agree, because I also had questions. I mean, have we looked into other avenues? I mean, besides Richland?
Augusta or Kalamazoo County or here?
Yeah, so
Let me answer Augusta. We can't do Augusta. Augusta is their own standalone agency with their own standalone millage. They pay for their service by their villagers. There's no way we're going to do that. When we built this model, we were specifically told by MCOLS to use our own ORI and not the village. So we are prohibited from partnering and pulling the village up here. Now, if there's an all-call and they need to come up here because there's some massive event, that's a completely different thing. But from a business perspective, we don't partner with the village. And that's just the way it is. That's the way the product's designed by MCOLS.
And the reason
Sorry to
we
cut you
don't,
off.
no,
That
you're
was the
fine.
easy answer for
The reason
me.
we don't want to go back to the county. So today, the numbers that we pay from our taxes, not out of our millage, but that as we pay taxes, we pay over $400,000 that goes to public safety. All right, it's not fire. There's only one public safety left, and that's police. And then we were back when we canceled the contract, we were up at approximately $130,000 that we were paying for one deputy 40 hours, and we were forever having to chase to see if we were even getting our 40 hours out of that person. And since then, they have, and they threatened's not the right word, they had communicated that they were gonna be making changes, so if you had a deputy, it was gonna, they had to put new tires on the cruiser, we were gonna get nickel and dimed for everything. And so I would not recommend us even looking at because in my opinion, we are already paying a lot of money for having coverage. I mean, they are, and that's that, are they double dipping, which I believe they are. They double dip because we were already supposed to have coverage from them, and then if we pay extra for it. But I think they're good questions to ask on it, and there are some benefits with the partnership with Richland that they have not nickeled and dimed us on, on calls and have been very. It's almost like for that money, we get the equivalent of 24/7 coverage, our own coverage. Plus, we don't have to worry about, we put a part-time deputy on call from these hours, but that's not the incident happens to happen here because of the coverage that they have, and it's not a certain deputy. We get the coverage in the off hours. So I think your questions are valid, and we can get the answers to those.
Yeah, I would think Richland would have a great record of it. Just, give them a call and say, hey, last 9 months, we want the breakdown of not what the calls are about at this point, because we already have that, I think, at some, in our reports, but how many minutes did each call take? Because like I say, if it's going to be a $70,000 or $80,000 a year cost, where now it's 30.
I asked Martin the same thing, because right now, we're adding it. He said we're at currently 5 hours a week is what our current contract with Richland says. And so we would be increasing it to 8 hours. And basically what he says is, if they're here for 15 minutes, everything that they've done in our township has not gone above their weekly current rate. So we haven't been charged any of this $125 per hour.
Right, I look at it as a new
Any
contract,
of that.
where the past was just a straight $2,500 a month for
Right,
for
but
their.
I understand that past contract had those same exact terms. They haven't.
Right.
As long as we've been with them, charged us any of those things.
You're kidding. Really?
Only ever paid the $2,500. So Martin says whether they're here 15 minutes or if they're here 4 hours on a domestic, they haven't gone above and beyond to bill us on top of that $2,500. Now, it's already been built into their contract to have done that, and they haven't historically. So I wish
right.
Martin was here, because I asked him.
Yeah, I just checked my phone. He didn't say he's not coming. I don't know where he's at. But I thank you for bringing that forward. So there's a couple things that I wanted to add. So that initial contract was the byproduct of M. Coles, Tim Burgoyce, and Rob Thal. So the reason why we brought that whole police department forward, and you weren't here, so I'm just going to take a little step back, is because it's very cost heavy to get an officer outfitted. You've got the body armor alone, that jacket's $600. And then you've got, the ammo, you've got the firearm, you have the taser, you have the outfitting in the interior of the vehicle, you have a lot of other things that go along with it. And that's just for one person. The nice thing about buying that cruiser from Richland is we got it at dirt cheap, and then it was wrapped for dirt cheap. And so we were able to take a lot of what Richland already had installed in that vehicle over with us. So we were just building the body armor with the law enforcement. The reality is every time we get a new officer, we're going to duplicate a lot of those costs with the body armor and the taser and the body cams and things like that. Those are real costs to us, and it's nice because when we partner with Richland, they bring that. We don't pay for it. We're just paying for that man hours. So we do get the 24/7 coverage on the back end with Richland without paying for the body cam, the body armor. We're just paying for the salary. When it comes to so that's what I wanted to say about the partnership and the contract. When it comes to the Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Department contract, the pain point right now is that it used to be, even when Richland had a county deputy patrolling, we paid for one deputy. And it was Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So that's a premium shift. And we paid for whoever bid on that. So if it was a deputy with the most highest seniority, that's what we were invoiced, which was why it was 130, sometimes even over $130,000 for Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 coverage. No weekends, nothing before 8 and nothing after 8 and nothing after 5. And that was the pain point because people were saying, my kayak was stolen Friday night and I don't have anybody knocking on my door until Monday morning to take a police report. That was the reality that was going on. That's why people wanted to look at having Ross Township have their own police department back. Right now, and this was just discussed at our county supervisors meeting, the county administration is saying if you have a county contract, there is no more of that cost sharing. They are putting 100% of the vehicle and all of the contents of the vehicle on the jurisdiction that has the contract. So if you have Ross Township and we have 2 deputies and 2 cruisers, we're paying for 100% of that deputy, whatever their salary is, however they are a sergeant or 20-year seniority or 2-year seniority, that 100% of that salary, 100% of that benefit, 100% of that shift differential, 100% of the cost of that body comes to Ross Township, plus the vehicle, plus the tires, plus the oil change, plus the gas, plus the outfitting every 3 years gets rotated out. So that 100% of that cost is going to the local unit of government. So when you look at the cost and you're looking at a union, you're looking at a shift diff, you're looking at the benefits, it's very, very, very expensive. The people who have sheriff's department contracts right now are charter townships. Not knocking them, but when you're a charter township, you can levy, is it 10 mils? I want to say you can levy up to 10 mils, or is it 5 mils? You can levy up to 10 mils. So you've got charter townships that have the ability to pay for those contracts. When Ross Township, we're not a charter township. We're not going after a lot of money to pay for it. So that's the reason why the product that was built with Richlands, because we're paying for the hours with the 24-hour service backup without the per hour charges. Lynn, have I explained that correctly? Okay.
So do you feel that even with this language, they'll continue to just bill us the $2,500 a month?
$1,000 a month
And why do you say
for
that?
this new contract.
Because it'll go up from 5 hours to 8.
It's going up to $1,000 a week, and 4 weeks in a month, that's $4,000.
Why can't this contract state that?
It does
No, I
say,
mean, but you're paying
There's a
the
service
overtime, you're
for
paying if it goes
$1,000 per
beyond.
week.
I mean, that's all in the contract. Why can't the contract just say $4,000 a month?
It says $1,000 per week. It's 52,000.
Under 1.3.
Right. And then it says we can, I mean, the township police chief can authorize more time as needed, right? Within the budget. So if he needs more service, then they're gonna be, you know, it's $125 for the first hour, $62.50 for each half hour after that.
so I think initially there was probably an assumption that when Richland came into Ross Township and took a call, that they would be perhaps doing the investigation or doing the follow-up or doing the paperwork. But the reality is that Martin has to do all of that. So maybe we need to strike that and just do a flat fee instead of assuming, because I believe that was built for them to do the paperwork. Now that you read that, I'm 90% sure it's because we expected them to be doing the investigation.
And with it being the township police chief is authorizing the additional time, he would need additional time if he's doing the reporting then, right?
Right. So, okay, so I'm on this portion. So what we really want to do is strike the mathematics, semantics, and just add a flat amount.
Gone from 5 up to 8 hours.
So that's a great question. The reason why there's been an increase is twofold. One, they're not being compensated for the hours that they're over here. They're over here a lot. Martin is a person that he's a one-man chief. He'll be in court all day. He does all of the investigations. He's our detective. He's our road patrol, and he also backs up Richland. He's only one person. So we do have Richland over here a lot. So there's that piece is if they're over here a lot, why not compensate them appropriately, because that is fair. The second piece to that is that residents have been saying loud and clear that they want an individual parked on the road running radar. They want tickets written. So if you park Martin on the road, you're taking him, he can't do investigations from his car. He can't be in court from his car. He's in his car. So we are going to put him behind if we take him off the road and stick him in his car. So he asked for the ability to have a road person come over and he'll drive that vehicle where our truck is outfitted with brand new technology for the radar and have a Richland law enforcement person run radar, directed patrol wherever we want it, or how they know it should be radared because they know where the speeders are and where the hot spots are in our township. So that's twofold. So it's increasing the hours to give the residents what they want, which is more road time. And people have seen him pulling people over. They have a new officer over there that has been riding along with him, and they've written a couple reckless driving tickets. There was another big one that was written. Do you guys know what it was? Reckless driving was a big one. It happened right here in front of our township. But it's giving the residents what they want. They want more tickets written for speeding. Great questions, though.
Has this new contract been reviewed by Rob Thal?
Yes. Yep. So it'd have to go back to Rob if this group decides to strike the mathematical formula, which I agree, it should be easier.
Well, I guess it may not need to be stricken. It just needs to be an expectation that the board is aware when Martin requires more than 8 hours if we've been living on 5. And if it means that we've gotten the extra value based on, writing tickets, having people in patrol cars, we need to know that too. So as long as what's happening for the 1,000 a week is robust and Martin knows that he needs to really come to the board if he wants additional hours on top of that, or you give him a month grace. If he comes in and says, "Oh, I had 15 hours last week," and we're up another, what would that be, $750, depending on how you did it.
Sure.
I guess I would be all right with this conversation because I was not aware that the old contract had that. I thought the old contract was just a straight $2,500. Whatever happened.
That's what we've always been billed, but that's.
The other,
I think that one thing that's nice about that is what you were saying is Martin needs to let us know, especially when I get the bill and I'm looking at it and I'm going, who authorized this? I can assume it was Martin, but he should really let us know that it's okay to pay that. So that he was the one that, I asked them to come and they had more hours.
So with that clarification, are you comfortable to proceed?
I am.
there's one more thing that I wanted to point out. The new clause, has everybody read the new clause about press releases? So that was the other thing that we put in there.
Yep. That was just that they would, that we would get a review of press releases before they went out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. All right, well,
Those are the
with
two
that
changes.
conversation, then I move we accept the updated contract.
We have a
That's
motion.
effective April 1.
Yes.
We have a motion and support to accept the police services agreement as presented. Is there any further discussion? Great discussion.
Wait,
Who supported?
Oh, I'll support.
okay.
And
I thought he made the motion, you supported, but
No, I
I'll
made
that's fine, I'll support.
so, and it is effective April 1.
April 1. All those in favor?
Aye. And if Thal was here, he would not suggest a roll call vote, right? I mean, this is not a roll call vote.
Contract, go ahead and do a roll call vote.
And that way you're covered.
Be covered.
Thank you for that.
Trustee Beeks,
Aye.
trustee Harmon,
Aye.
trustee Langshaw, supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Trustee White,
Aye.
treasurer Wiersma,
Aye.
clerk Stage, aye.
Thank you. The motion passes. So this is my to-do list, but this should go in your minutes. That's the reason, we need to make sure, that's for you. On your minutes,
Oh,
right?
I had that.
Oh, you have it? Oh, I'll take it back if you don't want it. No, I'll take it. Okay, perfect. Just making sure. All right, moving forward into, are we gonna do fire stuff now? Oh,
Yeah, they've been waiting patiently.
did everybody wake up? Stand up, touch the ceiling, stretch out. All right, guys. This is exciting. There's a microphone.
How do you want to proceed with this? Is this a board meeting or are we
Yeah, so,
comment or?
so this is, so you weren't here. So what we decided was we were gonna let them bring their information forward. They're gonna present to us. They'll talk about the high points and the low points, the things they recommend, and then we're just gonna ask questions.
Okay.
Much like we did the contract, and they're gonna answer to us and we'll make a decision.
All right.
Make sure your mic's up.
Mic up. All right, so.
You can take it out if you want.
That's okay. Primarily, I'm here to just receive any questions that you guys have from our 5 to 10 year budget plan for the department. Talking amongst the department, our wish is that, like, when we go to purchase 462, and I know we'll have more conversation on that, is that maybe we would steer away from a loan on that, just because we have the money and it's clearly allocated on how that would look without the loan, and why pay interest on money that's just in trying to gain interest, so.
So I agree 100% that on a loan, so is this considered a loan or is this, and that's kind of like, what's really the difference? Loan versus that it's a lease agreement. So this Elite Finance, is that a lease agreement?
Those were
It's a
loans,
loan,
yeah.
okay.
I think though you got a sample of each. You got one where it would be a lease from a leasing company, and then you got one from a financing perspective. So for instance, the financing, you put a couple $100,000 down, and then you can pay it over 3, 5, or 7, or whatever number of years.
Lease right here.
But on the lease, you would not pay anything up front, and you would pay annual payments across, I think it was 3, 5, and 10 years, or 3, 7, and 10 years. And to answer your question, in another format, right? I mean, you take a look at the, again, I will share the real numbers, so I'm
Yes,
not just
perfect.
throwing them off the top of my head. But on the lease, anyone have the 10-year lease right now?
Yeah.
What's the 10-year lease cost?
92%.
Yep. Okay, I got it. And that's across $540,000 with annual payments of $69,000.
It does say, so, under number 2, type of lease, this is a lease purchase type of financing. After all the lease payments are made, lessee will own the equipment without further costs.
Right. Right.
Very loan-like.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing. But when you look at an interest rate of 4.92% over 10 years, or just $69,000 outlay, on your $1.5 million, even at 4%, it's almost like, what would that be? That'd be 60,000 of it a year. So your net cost would just be $6,000 in that case, or $9,000 in that case, and you'd still have your $1.5 million across the 10 years. So that's why I came in here and I was hoping to, and I'm not going to make a motion, but I was planning to, that there's been a lot of discussion on the benefits, the pros and cons of leasing versus outright purchasing. And right now, for me as a board member, this is the first time, we're coming into a decision-making group, because we had a fire board before, where all the decisions were made. And I would like to at least have a presentation, whether it's Rude or whether it's Rude and Thal, or whether it's somebody, from a financial perspective, that what would we do to protect ourselves from a, fiduciary respect, going forward between a lease and just using the money that we have and having it gone into a depreciating asset. And when I did read, and I'm used to leases where, when I say used to, I only have my first one, but you pay for so many years and then you have a buyout. This isn't that. This means you own it after that year. And I know current car loans, I think, are still at 7 or 8% right now. At 4.9 isn't too bad when you're getting 3.8 on your $1.5 million. Especially then, you don't have to come up with any money until the truck is built and delivered, unless you pay the first year's, down payment, because across those 2 years, that could give you the equivalent of 2 or 3 months worth of payments right there.
Yeah, so the one reason I think a lease is potentially, and this is where you got to look at what's the present cost of the money. So if I take, and I'll just use $1 million. If I've got to spend $1 million today, well, that present cost of money is $1 million because it's all gone. But if I then spread it over 10 years with a annual payment, that money that there's both an interest I got to pay on it, but I'm also able to get an interest. So I'm able to sit on all that money. But if I calculate the present cost of that, which one is the better deal? And I mean, I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't run the numbers.
Well, and that's why I would ask for whether it be a Rude or a financial person to come in and explain that to us, so that when we make a decision on whether we lease or buy, that we would all have a pretty good same level of understanding of what it is we're agreeing to.
Right. So would it be fair? Well, one, I think we need to, from a 5-year plan or 5-10-year plan, make sure we're comfortable with how this is laid out. And then I think it could also be, because there has been some runaround, that maybe not the right term, I'm going to use that term though. Their perception is there's been some runaround on how to proceed with this, that maybe it's like, okay, either yes, we're good with it, but we would like a little bit more information on what is truly the best way, outright buy or this lease to buy. And I was looking at the math here, and I may be missing something. I was surprised after 10 years that we actually owned it, because usually
Yeah,
a lease on a car, it's like there's a buyout, or you walk away and get a.
I was
get
kind of
another
excited about that part.
Yeah.
And I know part of the plan is maybe we need 1.5 points, but maybe doing it this way, you might be able to get by with a half a point, going into the next millage, if you can control your cash outlay. Okay, but you said you're up here to answer questions more than present,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
So on the 5-year plan, where does the $240,000 of income come from each year?
It's the millage.
But what percent of the millage does that represent?
All of it.
50% road.
Oh, as opposed to operating. I got you.
So
Yeah,
half goes
because,
on.
I do some Google searches, and typically operating expenses should be 80 to 90% of a millage. And, in Michigan, basically, when they want, there's certain aspects that under Act 33 or something that you can do a special assessment in a millage if you want to buy equipment. But I guess I'd be looking for a study, and again, because we're a board that is fresh to make decisions, what do other communities do? Because at the same time, if it's been 50%, and that's how we got the $1.5 million, and it's 50% going forward, and then we may not have enough money for staffing increases, for paying people for work they're doing above and beyond, where we've always been short of equipment. I would be remiss without that information to say, oh, this is great. So, like for instance, the other thing too is I saw the inventory of trucks for the first time, and what I don't have though is I don't have a perspective of how many trucks is the right number for a community that it's our size. You know, I hear things that there are other communities out there with many more people with a lot less equipment. So how does that work, and how does that happen? So I just don't have a baseline, and I don't know if other board members feel they need a baseline or not. But you know, we have a lot of communities that we should be able to communicate and just say, hey, on your millage, what's the capital? What's the operating expenses? Where do you see your hurt? How many people do you have? Because if we go 80% or 20% capital and 80% operating, then we're not going to have to worry, you know, with the millage that we have coming in right now, we're not going to have to worry about safety equipment, training, paying people for, you know, going above and beyond to make sure that we're compliant, you know, in terms of tracking and report writing, and we haven't even talked about a full-time police chief if we're going to be this large too. Fire. I'm sorry. Scratch the police. Fire.
I see. So I see a lot of things. I see a planning that we need to do as a board to knock off a lot of those things. These guys shouldn't be doing. That burden's on
I'm not
us.
disagreeing with that. I agree.
But I would just add, and I think all that's good stuff to have.
Yeah.
And so this is the first cut at a 5 and 10 year plan that you know that we asked for. We also know that we have a vehicle that is a 1997, and according to the regulations, it should have been replaced in 2017.
Right.
And so I guess my thought is, well, we may look at how to look at some of these percentages going forward and filtering some of that in. I think we probably have a decision to make about the truck that today needs to be replaced.
I
don't
agree.
think it precludes us from potentially walking our way, because this keeps a lowest reserve of 640,000, and it also has the potential of looking at some of these assets that we're, do we get the, I think we need the boat. I don't know if we could find, I know we tried to find a used one. Every time we found one, it was gone before we got it, but
I'd also like to talk as a board, how do we get people on the lake to pay for the boat?
I would argue that the people on the lake are already paying for the boat,
And I would
because they
argue-
pay a higher percentage of the millage than the people that don't live on the lake, and their 50% of their property from the lake is exposed. So I mean, I think
And the boat is not just going to be for fire suppression, it's also for rescue opportunities. So visitors or residents or anybody that's out on the lake in a boat would benefit from a rescue opportunity.
I happen to agree with, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, go ahead. I happen to agree with Lynn, because these guys have been waiting to purchase this new truck. And it is a truck that is obviously needed. Personally, if there's a fire at my house, I want these guys showing up with a truck that works to put the fire out. And we've been told for 2 or 3 meetings now that this truck needs to be replaced. So as much as I think that the other information is needed, and I think, as Christina said, that we have some work to do as a board to see, working with the command staff, and figuring out what they really need for equipment wise and everything else. But we know they need this truck, and we need to do that for our residents. We need to let them purchase a truck that is going to be available for them to use in a fire or rescue situation that they know is going to work. And so I think we owe them a vote on this. And then I think as a board, we need to also understand that we have some work to do with the command staff in order to figure out how the department is going to move forward, grow, and remain as a fire and rescue for our township. So I don't want to postpone putting this off again for even another month. I think we owe them a vote.
So in your opinion, what will this truck do that no other truck we have will do?
What's this truck do that no other truck does?
So 462, 462 is gonna be, positioned in Augusta, so we currently have, 411 down there, which is operational, but, you know, it runs with some struggles and challenges as well, so what it's gonna do greatly for the township is gonna supply water, so most of our system's unhydranted outside of the village of Augusta, so when that leaves, we're gonna have, instead of 750? 1,000 gallons, we'll have 2,000 gallons in this new apparatus, so, which is, it sounds fairly minimal, but, you know, that's actually pretty substantial when it comes to our initial attacks on a house fire, so.
Use your mic, lean up.
Is that the only truck that carries water?
No, nope, so 461 carries water as well, and that's 3,000 gallons.
Okay.
So it's keeping with our current, model for apparatus. And again, I get you guys have some concerns of, you know, what do we look like with other agencies, maybe throughout the county, but the reality is that we have great resources, but when the fire goes out, you know, our rescues aren't going on that call, and so those are apparatus that don't go. So, you know, if we have a house fire, 421, 461, 462 will be the three for sure apparatus that we're getting, and that gives us 5. Right.
And
That's
which-
that's all your tankers,
Tankers are going
right?
first.
Yeah.
And 411 is the one you are going
That we need to replace, so-
get rid of.
so,
And what,
you know-
what would you be doing with that?
Well, that would be, we'll probably look to sell or auction it off, yeah.
Okay, I mean, it'd
One
be
of the two,
gone,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's gonna be gone. yeah.
So then, so housing is not a problem as long as the village of Augusta keeps their barn, right? Because you're full up here and then you have the one down there.
Yep.
And then, so on the 5-year plan also, I didn't see anything addressed for the fire barn in Augusta. And, you know, I've been of the opinion that if we need a fire hall down there, then that should come out of millage to make it right and make it sound. And I know there's
Not-
gonna be
not
some
anymore.
disagreement.
Not anymore. Not
A
with the
governmental,
agreement.
not with agreement. They own that, and part of the agreement is they maintain it. So that's
And
not our.
we're leasing it from them. We're paying them for that.
Rent.
So the rent that they're getting from us is supposed to go to maintain that building. And
And utilities that go with it.
So we're pretty confident that building will be here for quite a while.
Yep.
So in this particular
At least
case,
4 years. That's
for-
the
yeah.
contract, guarantee of 4 years.
And so from a operational perspective, with replacing this truck, 411, we would not need additional building space for
Correct.
fire. Okay.
as long as that building down there is still there, yeah, we are good.
And they have a vested interest, right?
Right.
I would hope so.
Keeping it there. So I
But I also heard that they only have 2 firefighters in the village. Is that true?
Microphone.
So currently, oh, that's loud. We have 2 firefighters in the village of Augusta. We're actively looking to hire, but that's just in the village. So we do have firefighters that live just outside the village. For example, Rob, if there's a call in the village or to the east, he's going to respond from his house and grab a truck from the village versus coming up here and grabbing the truck down there. So the biggest thing, and Rob might be getting to this point, but 462 is going to be our first apparatus out for a structure fire in the village of Augusta. So if there's a fire in Augusta, we need to ensure that this truck is going to work, that it's going to do all the tasks that we need it to. And the current 411 has historically had issues where we have had to stop pumping with that truck and have another truck, whether it's one of our trucks from North Station or a truck from a mutual aid department, take over pumping and continue with fire suppression.
So I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
Yep.
But I think what I heard you say is that if we put a new truck there in Augusta, it'll still be continuously used because with our current force, regardless of where they live, because especially for Rob.
Yeah.
Okay.
And other firefighters that are in the
Right.
vicinity as well.
It's not
that
going to
can-
sit in the barn because it's waiting for somebody to be qualified from
That's-
the
That's
village to
correct.
drive it.
Yep. Yep.
All right, thank you.
I do think, Michael, some of the points you raised are good ones because we need to project forward.
We do.
What what are the regulations coming down the road that are going to impact our costs? Whether that is a requirement to have a full-time fire chief, And so I think those are things that we want to forecast going forward as we look at it. But I think based on where we're at today, I think this is a good first start. So appreciate the work that went into it. And I think I would still like to see quickly, if whether that's Jeff Root or somebody that can run the financials, to say the best way to pay for it is either a lease or outright purchase. I don't, since we have the money, I don't think we would ever do a loan, because then that's just money down the drain.
Right.
But if the lease allows us to keep our money and earn interest on it.
So,
A lease,
Microphone.
a lease and a loan is basically the same thing. So, I mean, for the because you're either, the lease money is a loan payment or the loan payment.
right, but a financer, you won't finance 100% without a lease. I mean, you had it right in here, you needed a couple $100,000
Well,
down.
that's if we wanted to. I mean, we don't have to. That was figuring that we were gonna pay for the whole thing, or if we decided to put half down.
But are you comfortable if a truck goes on order, the board has a presentation on the benefits of purchasing it outright, putting it on a loan, or leasing it? It would make no difference
It
to you?
wouldn't make any difference to me. I mean,
Okay.
that's gonna be up to you guys. I
Right,
mean,
right.
we kind of showed you how it was. I mean, for me, I hate paying frickin' interest on anything. So I would just soon pay it off and have it done, spend $50,000 to $100,000 on something else that we could use.
Right, but that's why we want
So-
to have
so-
the cost analysis that says, okay, here's what the present value of that is, because paying interest but sitting on the money where we're gaining interest could potentially give you more money to spend.
Yeah, but I mean, if you figure you're making 3.5% and it's costing you 4.5%,
But it's against.
you're not making money.
but it's
You're losing
again-
money.
Well,
So-
it depends. It's against giving up an entire million. When
Well,
I say
it-
million,
right.
but
But it gives more opportunity as time goes, because you have a time value of money. If you're collecting the millage every year, I mean you've heard of the perpetual fund for the cemetery, right? I mean it doesn't pay its way yet, but wouldn't it be nice if we got $2 or $3 million in the interest rates? It buys all the equipment and pays operating and all that. But I mean we aren't going to get there, but we're
Right.
gonna
No,
move toward
so
it.
The financial part is gonna be up to you guys. I mean, we
Yeah,
kind
okay.
of presented it, so, and as far as, like you were talking about the trucks, some of the other some like Richland, they only have one station, even though they have more population. So they have their
Mm-hmm.
station filled. If we have two stations, I mean, basically anybody that has 2 or 3 stations has 2 or 3 trucks.
Right,
sitting
and it
in
will show up in the
stations.
report
Yeah.
that way.
So at any rate, I just wanted to bring that up for you, so when you were asking if that
Right.
truck even need to be down there, so.
if we give you the green light tonight, how soon would you actually need funds on the truck?
That we'd have to.
I mean, if we
I don't
got
know
the
if- I think
financial
that
review.
when we discussed it, it was whether we were gonna put a down payment down or not, so I think that we'll have to kind of.
No, I agree with you.
You guys are gonna be signing a contract, whatever you're gonna do, I'm.
And I was going to
No.
actually move that point, is when they order, and it's a 2-year deal to build it,
It's not 2 years. I have a truck presentation for that.
all right, I mean,
And
all
just, it's 30 days. Their quote's valid for 30 days.
So
Okay.
if you received a vote tonight, you would expect delivery on a truck
180 days.
180 days. So if we pushed it out a month, it would be another 210 days.
The only thing with the going out a month is we could
Quote's
be.
not
we-
valid.
The quote won't be valid, and
Right.
we could be hit with
Okay.
significant price increases.
So we could approve it tonight and then decide at our next April board meeting how it gets funded. Is it a outright purchase or?
But can
Well,
you
I'll go a
lock
little
it?
deeper than that. If we approve it, we have to know how we're going to do it in case the company says, I got to have something down, because if we're going to deal with a lease company, they would put that down, or we would make the first year's payment as a down payment.
That's where he
So
said he got
this-
30 day, so our meeting is within that 30 days. So he goes,
When did you get the quote, Brandon?
It was March 23rd.
Okay.
That's the data.
Correct.
That's what we changed last time that you didn't pick up on.
I did not get clarification on duration of when we sign.
But
to
you could
when-
reach out and say, hey, my board has this information, can you give me they'll
Yeah.
give you extra.
And he did tell me that usually, traditionally, most departments, this particular manufacturer that we're gonna ask for approval, they usually get 50% down, but he said they're very lenient and it doesn't have to be 50%. So if it's one of those things where you guys want to discuss that, and I set him up with Amanda so they can talk about it, they might only require 20% while the rest of the financing is figured out.
Your quote was March 23rd, so it expires on the April 22nd?
Yeah.
So just inside, our next meeting would be April 21st. So, I mean,
So what I'm thinking is we get the quote to Jeff Rude and ask him to spin some numbers. And since I deal with Rob, you deal with Rude, Amanda, is this an assignment you could take on?
Yeah, that's fine.
You could do that, and then we will know on the 21st how we're gonna pay for it. Does
Yeah,
that
and-
work?
Want him to come in for that?
It's audit
If you
season. I
can.
don't know if you're gonna,
I mean, I don't know, he may say he's not even the right person to talk to it, right? So then we may have to have some type of a, fiduciary, person from a bank or whatever. But when I look at the lease terms, on any of these, the first payment is 3/15 of 27, which means that we could have that truck for 6 months if it's here in 180 days before we make any payment on it. That's what it suggests to me. But somebody's got to talk to the leasing company to find out.
I talked to the leasing company. He says, when do you want your first payment to be? And I said, 3/15 of 27, because that's what was on an earlier version of this. So I think we decide whenever we want the payment to be.
All right, so in this case, though, we would probably want it to be in the year of delivery, right? So if it's 180 days out, our first payment would be this year, but it would be at that point of delivery, if that's acceptable to them, because then we have to ask, if the manufacturer requires 20, 30, 40, 50% down, how do we get the order through that? Because it would be the leasing company that would have to take care of that. And as long as we know that going into the next meeting on what's better, it's a lot better than not knowing, right?
is there anything, oh, I'm sorry. go
I
ahead.
did just, the sales rep actually just texted me, so I just shot him a message to ask him what the absolute minimum deposit would be to hold or to get the truck into production. So he's typing back right now.
I thought you were-
asking you, what else do you wanna know?
Well, no, I mean, but that's what, that's what's
So
kind of key.
Is there any value in approving the purchase tonight and then approving the how it's getting paid for at April, or do we?
I'm there.
I like
I'm there
that,
because you
yes.
can start working with the, the fire engine and saying, hey, they're going to work out the financing.
Okay, so I
If they don't
move-
start the build until we decide, we can understand that, but they should still honor the order if we make the order.
And I do want to ensure you that we're not rushing into this. We planned this probably 2 years ago.
Right.
And started, getting our wants and needs out of the truck. And it just kind of came to the opportunity to find a truck like this at a price like this. Because again, normally trucks are 1.2 to 1.5 million right now. And so when we find grabs like this, it's a good opportunity.
Yep.
That's why we're
Me
kind of
too.
pushing.
All right. So I move that we authorize
Hang on a minute.
the
We got an answer.
purchase of the replacement for 411.
I think he's got an answer.
120,000 secures the price of the chassis, so that's what they would require.
So that would be the question to the leasing company, Amanda, is how long would it take us to go under contract with them where they would pay that, then pay it off, and then we would make our first payment on the, if we did this, we'd make our first payment upon delivery. Does everybody agree with that? I mean, I don't think they would accept us having the truck for 6 months and not making any payment. So I think we just want to be fair with them.
Can I ask?
All right, so
All right,
I
sorry.
move that we authorize the purchase of the replacement for 411 with the expectation that we will determine the method of financing or payment at the April board meeting.
I'll support. Do we need to put in there that we're going to be selling? Or you're gonna be selling? How quickly do you think you can sell that? Would that be money down?
No, we would need to use that truck until we got the new truck.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So the only thing that I don't know if this matters is if you look at the 5 and 10-year plan, the current quote for the truck, I think was 540 something. I could pull that number back up.
It was, yeah.
We were gonna ask for 570, not to exceed, because as you guys know, that thing, we might wanna add a shelf or, things change.
The cup
throughout-
holder
throughout the-
and the axe rack, yes.
Yeah, a cup, yeah, especially a cup holder, right, Lynn?
Right, yeah.
So,
Is there going to be a place to put the gas receipts?
so I just make sure you
All right.
guys knew that before you voted in case it matters.
Does it
I'm
need to
okay
be,
with
does it, okay, so we're spending money, so it should be a resolution, and that should be a cap not to exceed in the
And then that,
resolution.
I resolve that we authorize the purchase of the replacement for 411 with the caveat that we will approve the funding mechanism at the next board meeting, and that 411 will be sold.
And not to exceed.
Not to exceed the 570 without coming back to the board.
Good with that? That's your ask? Yep, I'll support.
You got all that, Mary?
I'm just gonna read it back. We're purchasing the replacement for 411 with the expectation that we will do funding approving at our next board meeting, and that the funding will not exceed $570,000.
Can I say that, don't use the word,
Board meeting.
don't use the word purchasing, just say ordering.
Ordering, yep.
Obtaining.
Authorize
ordering.
the, yep.
Ordering the truck,
Ordering a replacement,
right? That was at the very beginning of the motion.
And then,
Resolution.
yep,
You should also say at the April board meeting.
correct. Thank you, trustee Langshaw. We need to put a date in there. It will be at the April 21st board meeting.
2026.
Correct. Thank
so
you.
we're ordering a replacement vehicle for 411 with the expectation of approval for funding at the April board meeting.
April 21st. 2026.
Okay. We are ordering a replacement vehicle for 411 with the expectation of approval of funding at the April 21st, 2026 Township Board meeting with a not to exceed of $570,000.
And you added the other one would be
Yeah,
sold
and the other,
And then,
current
yep.
411 will be sold
when this one
immediately
arrives.
following, I shouldn't say immediately, it'll go up for sale following,
When the fire
Delivery, the
department's
delivery.
ready, when the new truck comes, yeah, okay.
Do I have to put that in the resolution?
We'll sell the old truck when the new truck's delivered, period.
Have to outfit that a little bit. I think you don't need that in the motion.
Okay,
They're
we'll
gonna,
take it out.
they're gonna
Take it
sell it.
Fine. We just can't have Doug
Stick it in
collecting stuff.
our discussion that we said the 411 will be sold when the
Okay.
new truck
Perfect.
arrives.
And who is gonna work to try to get the information between buying and leasing?
And
You are?
Amanda owns that with Jeffrey.
And I would be comfortable if you found somebody that can just write it out and email to all us so that we can be very cognizant coming into April, so we don't have to have a meeting.
I like that
Is
idea.
everybody
We
else okay
pre-read
with
it.
Yeah, and if you do it tomorrow, wow, that'd be fantastic, but we know it might take a
Tomorrow's
couple weeks.
Friday.
And do recall too that if, we probably would need 3 quotes. And I think it's a lot of work to go get 3 finance
many-
quotes and 3 lease
how many do you
quotes.
have so far?
We got 3 quotes from engine manufacturers.
Well,
and-
I
No, not
don't know
you.
that, I don't know that we need 3 quotes from a financial institution, do we? I mean, I guess you could at
Maybe
least
not. I
get
mean,
one
it's,
from, I guess you could ask our current bank and the other
Yeah, I
place that
know
you're
our-
dealing with.
Southern Michigan Bank and Trust.
Yeah, and I guess I would be okay if we decide to finance, that we leave that up to you as the expert. But if we want to lease, I always want to make sure, they can construct leases in a number of ways. If we just have at least 2 ideas of how you can construct a lease,
Okay.
that may be helpful too. Because again, I was shocked that you make all these lease payments, you own the truck.
So most of the time, any of the companies have their own lease companies that they work with. So it's kind of like that's who they work with. I mean,
If you
so-
can get those names
so, I mean,
and
so
get those
usually-
to
but, I mean,
Amanda,
yeah.
that would be very
So,
helpful.
But you,
Amanda has the one.
any
Yes.
any of the fire companies, builders.
All right, so
usually
you're-
have their own lease companies.
And again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're saying this quote is from the lease company that works with the fire
Yes.
or the fire engine manufacturer.
It's built in, it
with
sounds
it,
like.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's usually the way it works.
That's fine.
All right.
Okay, so you're gonna work with the, okay.
All right.
All right, one more time before we do the roll call. We're ordering a replacement for the vehicle 411. We're ordering a replacement vehicle for the current 411 with the expectation of approval of funding at the April 21st, 2026 Township Board meeting with a not to exceed of $570,000.
$570,000. No, you said 5,000.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. $570,000.
$570,000.
You got it.
Okay. Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Beeks,
Yes.
Trustee Langshaw, Trustee Harmon,
Aye.
Supervisor Hutchings.
Yes.
Treasurer Wiersma,
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye.
Perfect, we thank you for that.
Amanda, you don't have Eric's phone number that I was dealing with, do you? I don't know if it was attached in one of the emails I sent you.
I don't believe so. I have
can
the
send you
contact
my-
information from both of these.
I can send you my salesman's phone number so you guys can coordinate like the down payment for anything. So,
Just, yeah, whip that text over to her and she can work on it.
thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions on our financial plan at all, or?
I think it's a good start. Well,
Yeah, the truck obviously was a good start in understanding it, but I think any plan is subject to change. I think we're here today, right, with the $1.5 million and the extra 240. But going forward, I think it just gives us as a board something to look at to find out from our millage, what do we want to have for a capital improvement plan? And then we would have to kind of re-gauge the next 4 years. Because from a board perspective, I really would like to be able to do it and keep it at the 1 mil. Because we've had discussions about combining police and fire in the future. They're on separate mills now. I mean, if you start getting up to 2.5, 3 mills to do them both, you just don't know if that's going to pass or not. So again, I just share this, that if we had an agenda to say, hey, let's see if we can do this, and keep it at 1 mil and still be, compliant, that would be great. But to really understand that, I'd like to know what other people do, but at the same time, we need to see the other half of the plan. Where are we short? Because even right here, it says that, hey, staffing pay increase might cut into this balance. Well, if we choose a number like 25% capital instead of 50, we don't have to worry about that, and we can pay our guys well enough where people are going to want to work here, and feel great about it from a compensation perspective. So I look at, we're good through here, but again, we're a new board with this. We don't have the experience and we don't have the base knowledge, but if we can get that and have something to work off of, if everyone else is at 50, 60%, well, guess what? The information that I got was, pretty bad, and we're okay. Then I would feel comfortable moving forward in that respect. But, the amount of equipment, we already issued the fact that if Village has to keep that building in repair, well, I'm going to trust that they're going to keep that building in repair at that level of rent. But that level of rent is a new cost, and that goes on to the other side of the coin, right? And I don't want to have to pay that rent and then not give people, the right pay and have the right equipment and things like that. So I'll get off my soapbox.
what did that rent end up being a year? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think I was gonna.
$6,980 a year.
Yeah.
So it's
7,000.
yeah.
Yeah, one thing that I'll note, we do, project that in the future, we are going to have to think of a staffing model, and that's something that we as a group have communicated. We have projections of what our call volumes would look like potentially in 10 years with, the average rises. And so that's going to be something that we'll have to, talk about at the end. It wasn't really built into this 10-year plan or 5-year plan as far as the finances just yet, but it's something that, it's on our minds, we do have to consider. Last couple things to note, so 462 will have some additional expenses. If you see that we kind of allocated 50,000 out of this fund to utilize for purchases to outfit the rig, because again, that's not going to come with hose. We're going to have to buy hose from a separate vendor to be able to stock that truck.
And that would be a direct expense to the fire fund in that case. That's not part of it.
It's part of that 570, that's,
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
oh, it's
in
not,
it.
that's a equipment budget.
Right, right.
And then the Halmatro, so we're losing extrication, a set of extrication tools. So our ask for that is a combination extrication tool that would have to be ready to go on that rig to put it in service.
Yep.
That way we can ensure that stuff's purchased. So, any other questions at all?
I would like to see this group come back at least quarterly. You don't have to come every month, but I like the setting. We've got great dialogue going. We're information sharing. You guys are teaching us things, but also you guys are aware of the things that we're going to need to understand better, and we want to partner. So let's get a schedule. We know we're going to see these guys in April, but do we want to do once a quarter, every other month? We have this team come back before us. What do you guys
Are you thinking
think?
of doing it as a special meeting?
A special meeting or I mean, I don't know.
Starting once a quarter, starting at 5.
I think if they have training when we have our board meeting. And so if we drag them in like once or twice a year, they're going to be here a long time. But if they're just touching base and this is what's happening and this is where we're going, this is what we're up to, any questions we have, we can ask of them. I just want the dialogue and the synergy to continue. So I'm thinking once a quarter.
Are you comfortable with letting the Public Safety Committee kind of ferret that out with their conversations with the fire board?
100%. That's why we
coming back?
created it. Yeah.
We're gonna start meeting at 5 before our board meetings.
Perfect. That way they're not missing their training.
For the Public Safety Committee's
Yep.
meeting, yes,
Yep.
okay. All right,
Are you talking that just one of them would, I mean, they're all gonna come in once a quarter, but we're still gonna get their monthly updates as
Right,
our
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
meetings? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you're saying 5:00? Because that's not gonna work for most of us.
No,
So
we're gonna have
if we're
the,
gonna try, I mean, if that was what you're,
so we're gonna,
So-
the Public Safety Committee, we're gonna start meeting at 5, because we've got some work to do to kind of figure out, I mean, there's the branding on the website and stuff like that, but it would be an opportunity if we needed to. If that time doesn't work, we'll find a time that works.
well, I just wanna make sure, I mean, because most of the time, me, Rob, Brandon, and Jake is available sometimes, but not all the time.
Yeah.
So most of the time, 5:00's not gonna work. Now, 6:00, if we were in and out, so we could still do our trainings at 7:00.
Right, and
So if
it
we
may
were first-
require us to,
But,
have a special meeting once a quarter. I mean, we're just gonna play it by ear.
Figure it out.
but,
Figure it out as we go.
So-
Be flexible.
but.
Go by the seat of our pants.
So, as far as the financial plan though, for the 5 years, you guys do need to think about what you're gonna do in 5 years when I leave. So.
You're never leaving. Stop.
So, we went from 216 calls 10 years ago to 512 calls, so that's what? 2,000%, whatever? I mean, so, in another 10 years, are we gonna be at
I don't know.
750, 1,000 calls? So. Yeah, right. So at any rate, that's, I mean, we brought it up that as far as salary adjustments, but that is gonna be something that needs to be addressed. That
I am
because
100%
you
there.
you guys, I mean, not that I want a lot of credit, but you have basically had a full-time chief for the last 20 years on piddly pay. So I just want to make sure that whoever's going to take it is going to get on the.
I would
on a-
like
on
to
a-
make your
on a-
last 5 years, not have you have that thought in your head. But we have to do it on the
No,
operational
you guys are
side.
going to have, I mean, it's going to have
Right.
to be, I mean, so we might as well start talking about it now, bring it up, and then work your way towards it. And So.
Well, if you guys can work on the 5-year plan on the other side, the other 240, and salaries and benefits and training and equipment, I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah, I'm just saying though that I.
But I
think
would just
that
work the
we're-
first
that we're-
year,
That
because
we
we
are,
have to see what
we
the
are getting very
capital
close
plan
that we
would be.
need a full-time
Right.
that can do a lot of the stuff that can't get done, that we're doing all,
I know.
everybody's doing after hours, on other jobs, everything else, so, but.
I was just going to throw in there. So the fire board, towards the last quarter of last year, we did do some decent pay increases. So I do want you guys to know that both firefighters, we jumped up a couple of dollars an hour. Command staff went to a different level, and then our stipends as command staff did significantly increase this for this first quarter. We're paid quarterly, so 4 times. So there have been price increases, pay increases, and that type of stuff. So obviously that's stuff that we'll continue to look for, slowly doing over time. So
Yeah. No, I think that's great, but that just brings you up to date.
exactly,
Right.
that's
And-
exactly it. And
and,
we
you know,
we do reach out to other departments and kind of see what their rates are,
Right, right.
and try to get more in line with some of those. So I think we're all pretty confident that we're kind of mid range for Kalamazoo County or the region right now and our hourly rates
Yeah.
right now. So.
And again, one of my biggest concerns is the fact that we always seem to be short of funds for the safety equipment that we need to operate with. And I remember the ARPA days. It was just a constant. We need this, and this. And when I look at that, we have almost $500,000 a year to work with. Then I just question, and then we have $1.5 million in the bank. I just wonder how that money was allocated over the past few years, where we'd be putting potentially firefighters in danger, not having absolute up-to-date training and equipment. Because I think as a board here, as we understand that, we should be able to make decisions, and I would always say safety first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
And I think I can speak to Rob. I mean, training wise, like our firefighters are all great. I mean, certified and everything like that. And so, safety wise, we know we're trained. So,
Okay. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Good.
Don't run.
Good.
Thanks, Rob, Jake, Brandon.
Truck, you're
Thank you.
good.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Great discussion. We have a lot to learn on the wheel of managing a firehouse.
I wonder if the information, like on the salaries and that, might be passed out to the whole board.
Yeah. Probably need
Because
to
I
get
think
some
that
binders
was-
going.
A lot of that, wasn't shared.
I have that.
I think we shared maybe minutes, but I don't think anything of that was attached to it.
And I'll also share with information, like this 5-year plan. It kind of allows you to drill down into what we need to know, because without this information, we'd be totally blind. Right now, we're only half blind.
Yeah, I think
Right,
one of these
right, very green.
operationally
Yeah. Yep.
key for future.
Yeah. Clicking right along. So knock that off our list. I feel good about that. All right, moving into township personnel pay rates. Mary, did you want to take that? And then along with the
Well, I think-
resolution, the
I think you need
resolutions?
to open up the public.
Oh, shoot, thanks for the reminder. It is 7:21 PM. I am opening the budget public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Do I want to vote? All right.
All right, you all were sent in the mail, a comparison of the last year's and this year's, and then in your packet is what everybody's salaries or pay rate would go to. in the 26-27 fiscal year. And I think that we need to vote and make sure that we're aware of this and approve it.
This match what's in, that we have in our proposed
Yes,
budget.
it does.
I'll make a motion to approve the new pay scale as presented by clerk stage
Clerk
earlier
stage.
this week.
Yep.
Stage.
We have a motion and support to accept the new pay scale presented by clerk stage. Is there any further discussion? Will this be a resolution?
Yes.
So he resolves to accept.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you've got the Ross Township, sorry, my eyes were just, I was seeing two line items there, and there's only one, so I'm good. Your resolution.
Well, there has to be a resolution. Joel, okay.
I thought there was
So,
like-
so
okay,
this
good.
really is gonna include like the zoning board, the PC, the salary for the deputies, the maintenance people, Mary Carroll, the office manager.
That would be, yeah, the halls and the
Right.
commissions.
And so and the chief of police, because he doesn't have a resolution. So individually, there's the trustee resolution and then the rest of the board here. So,
Can we, roll them, so there's actually two resolutions,
There's going to be 4.
well, so there's this.
Yep, so that's all non-elected. So
Okay,
elected,
so-
each
so we're
elected has
dealing
their
with this
own.
resolution
Correct,
first. That's what's on the floor.
correct.
Michael's got all right, so we got the resolution, so let's,
Motion and support. So trustee Beeks, motion support by trustee Langshaw.
yes. So I have the resolution to accept the pay rate for non-elected officials.
Correct.
Or non-elected employees
Right.
for the 2026-27 fiscal year,
Correct.
resolved by Beeks, supported by trustee Langshaw. Okay, trustee Harmon,
aye.
treasurer Wiersma,
Aye.
trustee White,
Aye.
trustee Beeks.
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw. Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
So now we're moving to the officials, correct?
So now we move into each elected official has their own resolution. And,
We can't bundle them?
nope,
First one in my hands is the trustees.
I resolve that we, accept the trustee resolution for 26-27.
I'll support.
Trustee White.
For which one?
The trustee.
Trustees.
Nay.
Trustee Beeks.
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw.
Aye.
Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Treasurer Wiersma.
Aye.
Trustee Harmon.
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye.
Motion passes 6-1.
Which one's next?
Supervisor.
I'll resolve that we accept the supervisor pay rate.
I'll support.
We have a motion and support to accept the supervisor resolution new pay increase as presented.
Trustee Harmon.
Aye.
Treasurer Wiersma.
Aye.
Supervisor Hutchings.
Abstain.
Trustee Langshaw.
Aye.
Trustee Beeks.
Aye.
Trustee White.
Nay.
Motion passes 5-2.
No.
Oh,
Clerk Stage.
Oh.
Aye.
why do you always skip over yourself?
Actually, 5-1.
5, oh, and 1 abstention. That is correct. Thank you for the math on that.
Resolution for the treasurer.
I'll make a motion that we accept the pay raise, or a resolution for the pay raise for the treasurer, Wiersma.
I'll second it.
It's just for the treasurer in case it's not her.
Okay. It's just the treasurer. Don't tell Jason.
Trustee White. Trustee Beeks.
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw.
Aye.
Trustee Harmon.
Aye.
Treasurer Wiersma.
Nay.
Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Clerk Stage. Aye.
Motion passes.
The resolution for the clerks.
That. I resolve that we.
I'll support. Resolution and support for the clerk.
Trustee White. Trustee Beeks.
Aye.
Trustee Harmon.
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw.
Aye.
Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Treasurer Wiersma.
Aye.
Clerk Stage. Nay.
Motion passes. Thank you. Moving into budget fiscal year 2026, 2027, I will turn the mic over to Lynn Harmon. Hold on, let me get you the mic.
Okay. Oh, guess we fell asleep.
Take a minute.
Just hit the power button to turn.
I need to go to the
Christina, do I hit the power button to wake it back up? All right.
There you go.
All right, let's see. Come, there we go.
Are you gonna, Lynn, just cover the? Are you going to cover the changes from the last review only, or are you going through the entire budget since there's nobody?
You
in
know,
public?
it's going to be a bit of everything.
All right.
So there's always 2 steps. We'll wait till Mary gets here to get really going, but there's always 2 steps. We always have to do the budget amendment, and then we come over and look at the proposed. So the highlighted in blue is those items that the amendment changed. Now, before we get into that, I want to come over here and look at these categories. So this right here is the current fiscal year year-to-date balance. Now, what's missing from a big ticket is the building. The check's been cut. That was 100,000-ish. It didn't clear through before they pulled the report for this month. But this is where we are, when you look at our revenues versus our expenses, we are 138, so then take 100 out, so we're sitting revenue positive with just a few days left to go. So that's if you go back and look at the original, we had, let's see, it's right up here. So our original budget, we had budgeted to eat in the surplus at $254,000. And I mean, there's still a week left to go. We know there's 100 in there, but it looks like we're going to end up pretty close to break even. That's huge, and it's not. I mean, that's kind of been what we've been doing. So this is where, at a high level, the amended budget from last time we looked at it brought us down to a 139. And remember, we went through for the kind of the first time and brought some things down. So in the past, we pretty much have only worried about taking things up, so we are in compliance. But just to try to clean it up, we went and took some things down. So the proposed budget, again, we pretty much only took a few things up, but we're now getting some insight. So now we're at eating in 82. But if this holds how we're running, we're going to be pretty darn close to a break even. So I think, to me, that tells me that, you know, we're doing a good job of monitoring or managing our funds and not spending where we don't need to. All right, so the first part of this category is in the revenues. And so you see that, and I'm not going to go through each of them, but you can look and see that we ended up with a balance of 295, 113. So I just bring it up a little bit above it for round numbers. So you see that one goes up. You see the administrative fees ended up being up a little bit. The cable fees ended up being kind of, and that's we brought those down because, you know, less and less people are cutting the cable line. Then we get the state of Michigan Metro Authority. So that ended. This was our original budget. That's one thing I like about this report format is it shows us the original one from essentially a year ago, what we've amended throughout the year, and then kind of where we're at. So when you look at that, you can see how things. And we only put, you know, 5,700, and it's come in at, you know, 16,297 year to date. So we got the same thing with state shared revenues, bringing that one up just a little bit. Board of Appeals. Then we get the building permits. So some of that's flow through when you get to the building permits. So as there's more building going on, we see more permit revenue, but there's more expenses that go out with that. Maps, labels, addresses. So that was one. Originally, we didn't have anything, so it's not a big ticket item. Interest, Amanda continues. Treasurer Wiersma continues to do a fantastic job of maximizing interest on our funds. Got some donations in there. And then we got reimbursements for elections. So those came through. They were not there last time. So we've got that in there now. And then we've got miscellaneous other revenue. So any questions on the revenue side? Well, we're up on here. Let's just go ahead and look at the budget. So I'm going to position that so you can see both the proposed next to the future. And Amanda gets some insights from the different sources, but from the state on how things may play out. So you got 303. We've got, and some of these Amanda's probably has more information, so she's been able to go in and put a specific number, as opposed to when we get down to the expenses, we've floated up by what is projected to be the inflation rate. So you can see these numbers coming down the row. And again, I'm going to come over here so you can see. So for 26, 27, we're at, that adds up to be 1,258,160, against almost flat. So if we end up where we think we're at right now, we'd be at 1,247,000. That's the current one with a week to go.
No, that's
No.
correct. No,
Nothing is in here.
that's just a general fund.
Well, it's still its own fund, so we have to approve it. But but they give it to us, and so I have it as we scroll down. I've got the cemetery, got the park, got the fire. Not in. Well, it won't be in. This is all 101. It will be in its own fund, and so we will approve it and monitor it just like we do this. But we're already set up in this format for that. So any questions either on where we're at year to date on revenues or where we're projecting for next year?
Mentioned current year, there was 100,000 still floating that's gonna go into that expenses.
It's already, we've already paid it. It's the last
Right.
payment for this building. It just didn't,
But it doesn't show on there.
it doesn't show here.
So basically, that's 38,000.
Right.
And there's nothing else out there floating around?
There's still some expenses to come in for the last probably 10 days from when you ran the report. So that's why I'm saying I'm expecting it pretty close to break even. Could it be a little negative? Could it be a little positive? But we're not aware of any big ticket payment that is left to pay. Liability.
No, that's already on here.
Well, the last payroll is not on there.
What's payroll run approximately?
I think it was, I can't remember what it was. Jeez. 15, 16.
Okay. So if another, besides some basic ops and stuff. So, I mean, that's why I think it's going to be pretty darn close to break even. Okay, so let's come over, and we're going to come down into the expenses. So as we come down, again, you can see, like, there's a county level alternate that we hadn't budgeted for. We did put it in last time, so it's just going up like $50. You can see that these are just up a little bit. That one just, up from 1,030 to 1,800.
It's because we just had a board review meeting, so I know there's another
Yep.
stipend coming out of there.
These are all small amounts. You can see looking at them. So 60. So we were at 5,150. Year to date, we're at 6,796. So just 6,800. There's some election supplies. We got some repair and maintenance from election. Salary hall assistant. Pension plan management, just up a little bit there. The video alarm and fob service. AGS, up a little bit. Here's the property and liability insurance. So this is one that, as we were doing new accounts, I mean, we missed this on the original budget, and then this came in. So we'll be able to do a better job next year as we put that in. Some telephone, utilities, equipment, police. This right here is a bad descriptor. Salaries fire board. That shouldn't. We need to get that That's that one,
It was in there as a category, that's why we put 0 on the proposed, because there's no longer gonna be that
Okay.
charge on there.
now we get down to the building, professional services, our roads. Engineering, a little bit of cemetery. There's the planning commission a little bit. Zoning board a little bit. Yeah.
And Amanda, it's on the cemetery perpetual fund again. I see that we're still showing all of the investment gain as part of the, what do you call it, the what?
Part of the pooled funds?
Perpetual care. And I just wonder if that is misleading in a way, because, like we said earlier, hey, it's just treasure, somebody else might come in here. And if they replaced a number of us on the board, somebody would just come in and think, that's the perpetual fund.
I mean, I can separate it and put it as a separate line item on my spreadsheet.
Yeah, I think that would be wise, because then we don't have to go back and re-address it, because I think in that, I think it was like, we got down to 99,000.
We're at like 102 on the perpetual fund actual balance. And then I think we have like almost 6,000 in interest on top of that. So we're like at a 108.
General fund, or if it goes to the cemetery.
Right.
Okay. Just for clarity.
Yeah. And because it's part of the pooled funds, it's all together making the same amount of interest. So it's, honestly, we're getting more on our checking right now than we're getting on our money markets for some reason.
That one.
So I don't know if you noticed that, we're at 3.66 on our checking and 3.2 on money markets. It's just wonky.
I saw those rates, I was really happy that.
And so I have my own personal money I'm moving out of some high-risk investments right now because my old man's decided he doesn't want them sitting at Wells Fargo. He'd rather put them in a money market, and I can only get 2.5% right now.
Ooh.
So I don't know if it's the difference between municipal but the rates are ugly. They're getting ugly.
Not for us.
Let me ask a question.
I mean, I don't have 500 grand sitting there, but
No, but if we opened up a money market, like I buy my Ranger stuff at 3.8, which is the reason. And now, it looks like it could go up again. Inflation, I think, is gonna come roaring back, and they're already talking about rate increases. But that would be buying on the market, it's called WMPXX, but it's just a money market, and a year ago, it was paying 4.75, still fluctuates, but 3.8, it's safe.
yeah.
But I don't know if we have that as a risk factor, I mean, it's, we'd have to open up a brokerage account, to do that.
Yeah, and I think there's some very specific rules as far as municipal funds, what they can go into, and it's based on our actual investment policy. So I can bring details on that.
Well, I'm just curious to find out. And then the other thing too is you might ask the bank just to up your money market fund, they might do it. I know I ask every year at
Yep.
Consumer Credit for our HOA, every year they do it, but I always say, I just don't wanna have to move that money back
Yep.
and forth.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah, and they just did it, 2 months ago again.
Okay.
Again, just asking on that, if you already protected them, everything else, you don't wanna remind them.
Right.
All right, sorry about that.
No, no worries. Okay, so now we're looking in the green column. This is our future budget. So as we walk down, you can see where we just reviewed the proposed. And we're gonna end up doing basically 2 motions, one to accept the proposed and then one for the future. So you can see these differences. The 200s where you see that's where we didn't really have any expense. And so we left a flat 200 just so we have something in there because we don't want to have nothing in there if something hits.
Don't want to eliminate the category,
Right.
and then like we didn't have election reimbursements last year, and so we eliminated it, and now at the very end we get the 2024 presidential election right now, so that way we don't end up eliminating a category for next year's budget if we have to,
So
right?
For the most part, these are gonna be up that 3.01% that we had. So you're gonna see that. Now, when we get down to elections, because of what we have to do with the tabulators, and I'll let Mary talk about that. So you're not seeing a whole lot of difference between the, what the proposed was versus where we're at, 'cause it's at 3%. So if I need to slow down as I'm scrolling this, just, I'll come every now and then and stop so you can look at it. And when we get to the elections, which is coming down a little bit further, there's our benefits. Okay, we're getting to elections here. Okay, that's all the elections showing on the screen. So Mary's gone through. Mary, you want to talk to it, or you can see where we got salaries that are up versus where we were because of the elections coming up. Supplies are up. Contract. What falls under the contract services here?
The contract services is for the early elections with the
County.
county, so that covers our costs with them. Our mileage is up because we're gonna be moving equipment around for 3 elections this year. And we also have up in our equipment because we have to buy new tabulators this year. The state is still in the process of working with the different vendors and their quotations, and then eventually they will either put out, these are the 3 vendors you can buy from, and then we will, as a county, they will pick which vendor we use. So the county will say, we want to either stay with our current vendor, or they'll choose another one. There's been a rumor going around that the state may mandate what we pick. So everybody's a little worried about that, and I don't know if that will affect the cost or not. But right now, they've told us that you have to set aside 15,000 for every single precinct that you have, and we have 3 precincts, so. And our sale,
It's 2 plus the,
the counting board. So, we consider that a separate precinct, but it's, okay, sorry. So those costs will cover that, but I'm hoping that what we have here will cover everything for this year. No, but we have been diligently writing letters, the whole clerks throughout the state. We've been trying to do a huge drive with them to say, you can't just put this on us. You guys are gonna have to help out because, you're, first of all, you're mandating we have to do this, and second of all, it's gonna be expensive for us just to do this on our own.
all right, so then we start moving into the hall, and just about everything here is just set to that 3%.
The yellow, I've got the yellow highlighted there.
I was,
So that's where we took that retainer out for our lawsuit. And I don't know what we need to plan on adding to.
Yeah, so the legal update on that is we're just waiting until April 6th at 9 in the morning. We're gonna go before Judge Bell, and Judge Bell is unlikely to issue a decision on the 6th. We are hopeful that he will issue a decision sometime in April, and the way it's going is if all things are moving ahead and we are able to move out, the city of Kalamazoo has already said that they will take us, then our dollars will be spent towards doing a rate analysis for Ross and Richland, because one doesn't exist, and inspecting our equipment that we own and getting it in an appropriate condition for the city of Kalamazoo to take us in under their wing. So there's some infrastructure investigating and analysis that needs to occur, and then we need to obviously negotiate our rate. If the judge decides we are not able to leave, which is unlikely because he already said, I'll allow it, I just want to know how you're going to do it. We have to prove that point. Then we are going to go heavy into discovery, and that is what I've been living for this past month, is coughing up a lot of information for a trial that is going to be very interesting.
Right, and at that point, we'd have to come back and
Correct.
talk about it. So right now, we've got this sitting in there as potential coverage on it.
I don't think it's going to be any more than what we've already paid, no. It would be another retainer. But we won't know until April 6th, or until Judge Bell
Usually
issues
it's
a
the
warrant,
rules.
issues a decision. So. Right. Right. That we can leave and take our infrastructure with us. They're going to fight us on it. Correct. They're not.
Yeah, that's,
We'll talk offline.
Right, so, all right.
I just needed to know if we were gonna put more in there or less, or I didn't know how.
I know.
I think we'll leave that what's in there for right now. Hall's a big category. Like I said, all these are pretty much, okay. This right here, this is the accrued building fund. This 50 that's sitting in here, we just use that category. That is intended to be our capital fund. So Amanda would end up with another line item that we would take the 50, we would show it as an expense because we took it out, and it would essentially go on our balance sheet fund, and that's the intention is to do 50,000 each year if we can, and to build up a capital fund. So at some point we need to have our own 5 and 10 year capital plan for what we might have to do.
We talked about that as a board. The 50,000 was just for year one.
Right.
Giving us a year, and then there was some talk about the planning commission putting together the 5-year capital plan. I shared that with, and I think I gave it to you all in the note, in case you have notes, but we have to kind of get our arms around it. Again, I'm not convinced the planning commission is the right place.
Yeah, I don't see where that's a planning commission, because it's about, you know, let's say, for example, in 10 years, we were projecting a new roof. I don't see where the planning commission has anything to do with that.
It's for expansion. Like if we wanted to build on here, or if we wanted to do anything that the planning commission would have to.
Master plan related.
I swore Rob Thal said the planning commission had a piece in that, but now I don't know. I'm drawing a blank.
He did, and it was even difficult for him to explain it in detail when I said, hey, the board might ask us for this, right? And it's like we really didn't have any great information on it. But my opinion would be, we would just be retraining another group this size with people here who know.
Right.
Right.
I think we'd put together our 5 and 10 year plan, and if there was an item on that had planning commission implications, just like a resident would have, then we would take that. Right.
Right. So maybe when Rob is here next on the next board meeting, we can corner him and ask him what his rationale was with that, and then we'll know better. I did read your note, and I was like, yep, that's what he said. Yep. Right.
I'd like to see us get LED lights so we can just flip the lights if we want to turn them whatever color we're supposed to turn them. We can Christmas lights, Halloween lights. When we do what was the one color we did for the
Green for the
green?
Yeah.
We just-
Support the vets.
Yeah. All right. So You see we've got there's the contract services on the police that are in there. It's right here. This is the new one, right there, 52,000. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, can you not see through the cursor? All right, not sure, we left 10,000 in there for equipment, not sure what they might need. Then we get down, building, we're down into the permits, professional services around that. Street lights, property liability, workers, now we're in the cemetery. Here's the planning commission. Zoning board. And then down here, now we get into the fire revenue. So you see that, so you see tax levy revenue, showing that coming in. If there's any grant money, so we're projecting 534,000 coming in.
That's interesting because based on the 5-year plan at a 50% rate, it would only been 480,000.
A what, a what?
Well, the 5-year plan, they said half of our revenue is
Oh.
considered capital. And you would think it was 480, now it's 530 based on our projections. And that's just something we're.
Right, and the tax levy revenue goes up every year because, you know, we have the 3% increase, so this definitely doesn't factor that in. It's just a flat number I gave Rob to begin with, to get going. So I think, you know, we could have definitely a more detailed, comprehensive, planning on an increase, you know.
And the interest on those funds are being applied to fire versus general.
Correct, because it's its own fund. No, it's my understanding that fire interest goes to the fire fund because it is its own separate fund.
So there's there's what's,
I mean, Jeff Rude set up the formula for,
yeah.
like, the percentages of interest that we gain going specifically to their funds. Yeah. It's one of those, you know, auditor, attorney. Right,
So
yeah.
Amanda, did we put in the new fire truck?
No, those need to,
Okay, so Amanda was checking with, because we get the money from our millage and, you know, goes into the capital fund, and now we're gonna spend it. So it's going to look like we are spending way more than we're taking in, but it's because we're pulling it out of you don't take out of the capital fund and put it in as revenue to offset that. All right, so we
we just
just,
show it as a deficit, which eats into the reserve.
so we just approved 570. And that would go into this capital,
So, yes,
Into
correct.
that account
We
right
would change
there?
that to the 570.
Put it in there until April, because we can always amend the budget, right?
Well, it'll be in the new budget.
Right, but if financing goes differently, we can.
Because, you know, you can put 570 in there, it may end up only being 60,000 or 69,000. I mean, we saw that. So, point I have is, we can amend the
Well,
budget anytime,
yeah,
and the revenue will always be there.
Right.
right.
And your fund will always be there, and if you don't spend it, it's just gonna.
So you want to just leave the 270 in there for right now? And then
I
we'll,
see what you're saying.
okay,
And once we know, we have a budget amendment.
all right. And then.
Bingo.
Then we got the parks, so we're at revenue 39,000, and we've got expenditures estimated at. Up to park?
Okay, never mind, you're fine.
And we got park at 41, so I mean, it's,
We don't have it, well, it's gonna be Julie across the street, her husband Perry. And then we have, Andrew that's still working for us here, so we've got some good hands-on. I'd love to see that part go cashless.
I initiated last year where we are cashless at the park, not cashless, but We have cashless capabilities.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
it's-
getting there. Baby steps.
it was, I mean, it was only the last couple weeks that we did it, and it worked.
It worked out good.
It worked out. There's a few more steps than you might do if you were paying via Venmo, but
We're not
not a
really.
whole lot. I mean, you still have to
Right.
have an account set up, so I don't know if you
You,
come in.
you don't have to, you just check
No, I
in
mean
as a
like
guest.
like at Venmo, you have to have an account set up.
right.
And so here, when you scan it, you have to you still have to put your name and stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to start hitting that.
All
So we
right.
are looking for employees.
So I'm gonna come back up here again. All right. So this is not counting the separate funds. This is just the 101. So we're looking at right now 1.2 in revenue, 1.3 in expenses. Much like last year, or this current year, we were showing eating in at 250. That doesn't look like we're going to do it hardly at all, if any. This shows us eating in 112.
Much better than last budget.
We'll look for ways to save.
Yeah.
Doing it, yep.
Won't we get some money back, or some extra money from the golf course sale?
No, but their taxes will be uncapped.
Which golf course sold?
All of them.
All four of them.
Oh, who'd they sell them to?
A national golf firm.
Oh, are you sure? That one I heard, but maybe I didn't hear right. Thought they weren't even.
Yeah, it was.
Weren't even related to golf.
Yeah, I was talking to an attorney down in Florida, so it could be anybody.
So the taxes will be uncapped. So the revenue will come in, whereas before we had some limitations on that.
All right. Well, so that might be a.
So we don't get any funds back from the 2 times that they,
No, we do not.
I just got an email today that they're putting together 4-man scrambles for 27 holes, $545 up per person.
Here,
They're gonna play Stoughton Brady, 18, and Zion in the south. I'm thinking, but that would be for bringing people in because it includes 2 nights lodging and some meals. But oh my God,
You got spare room? You could maybe make some revenue.
So we talked back in February about trying to stratify how fall charges, right? And I had asked Mary and Lynn, for that study, 'cause I didn't see it through your last board meeting, and it wasn't there.
oh, she
Up
wants
to
you
your
to use your
mic.
microphone.
Move up to your mic.
All right, I won't repeat all that. But, so they didn't get a chance to look at it. So I looked at the invoices, I think it was from October through current. And I'd given some recommendations. I didn't share any of that with any other board members. But where do you feel that you might be with that?
I'm
Those
gonna
recommendations?
I'm gonna look at Mary because I can tell you where I'm at with it, which is nowhere because I've been busy with everything else. So I'll turn that over to Mary to answer that because that's really her.
So what's your question?
Well, all right. So my feedback after looking at the reports is I felt Rob did a good job of segregating everything like fire, FOIA, ZBA, PC, and he had like 7 categories, but he had the catch-all category, and I thought there was some additional stratification possible. I'm not looking at going backwards to try and change anything, but since we're starting May 1, if we elect to do, or April 1, if we elect to do that, it's just a matter of asking Rob to, have a category instead of general at all catch-all, we would have a supervisor, treasurer, clerk, trustees, and then a general.
So I would ask Rob what he thinks about that, and because we don't want to pay more money for him to do that.
Well, it's just a matter of how he identifies it on
Right.
his invoice, which are very, very articulate because he has each category and then the dates and the time, and so it just end up being that, and then we can build that into the budget, say mid-year. We take a look at it because I know his expenses are just tremendous. With everything going on, and it's in that general category is pretty much a catch-all if it's not specific, like a PC, ZBA, FOIA thing. So
Okay, so I want to I already sent what you sent me to Rob, and I asked him for his input on that. Then, but I want to ask, from my point of view, when I'm doing expenditures, so I would, if that's the way we go, there would be a separate line item put into each of those categories for attorney expenses.
I think you already have it in there.
Okay,
already
okay,
have it.
right.
I think so.
But, okay,
Then it'd just be,
then I would need to ask this question, because I do the FOIAs. Do I separate FOIA costs out of what?
Rob
the
already does
clerk-
that.
I know, so that's how you want that done.
It would still
because-
be FOIA.
Okay, because I have to set up
So
a
right-
FOIA expense.
So right here, under the clerk is attorney expenses.
Right,
And is that fair to say that's FOIA is in that, or is FOIA
Well-
somewhere else?
Well, I've been putting the FOIAs right now to the hall expense.
Okay.
Because there was no FOIA, so I would either put an additional line item under clerks, attorney expenses, and then that what would cover FOIA.
Okay. And I think if we wanted to keep track of the FOIA expenses with the attorney, then you would need to do that. If not, I would think then that would go under clerk because you're responsible for FOIA.
Okay.
That would be my opinion.
I want, clarification.
And I would just say, we just all need to remember that you email him, you call him, there's a charge to that. So like I personally, unless it's something that, it's like, hey, you need to call and talk to him, I don't call him. I wait till he's either here and ask my questions. So I think obviously Christina needs to talk to him more, and Mary. So my advice is, unless you feel like you really got to talk to him, try to save it for when he's here.
I don't even copy them on minutes.
Yeah.
My drafts or even final because of that. I don't
Yep.
want to be charged for him looking at it. But until we all see how we're doing it, we're not going to really see where can we save.
Okay, so we'll see what he comes back with. Don't call and ask him. Ask him at the next meeting how he's doing.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, I always thought if I had to call him on 6 things, I'll wait till the end of the day and I'll just do all 6 in one shot because it's not 15 minutes each time. It's 30 minutes for 6 items. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
That might be a possibility.
Right.
But I will share that when I was going through this 6 months worth of data, Rob he only had one for sure and maybe one other one that I thought could have been classified different. So he did.
He did a good job.
He does a very nice job, and it's just a matter of taking the general and just breaking it out into those categories that I suggested. So, okay.
All right. Now, I thought this was going to help Mary, but maybe not because we have to do an upload. So I built the macro in here.
That macro got real big when we made those all blue additions.
Yeah. Did you use the macro?
Just to go line item by line
Yeah,
item,
so
but
you
it worked fine.
Come
Yeah.
over here, you click it. And it takes 147 records copied to upload. So those are all the ones that we did.
So that's the proposed,
That's
new proposed,
no, that's just that's the amended. The
amended
yeah.
for 2025, 2026.
Yep.
Okay.
It really is.
Pretty amazing.
So I think
So,
Mary, check with BSA because I'm pretty sure you could do a partial upload and it just overrides those. But if not, I can set that up to just bring everything out. We
It
can look
doesn't
at
take me that long to go through that. I mean, I can book through it pretty quick.
All right, and so going forward, we have to do one more budget review in April.
Yes.
So we do any amendments for this past year, and then we're done. And then we would start with the new year on the quarter.
Right.
So once a quarter, and we can adjust it based on you got a really big agenda. We can shift it one or not, but yeah.
So
what 2 motions do you need?
I need a motion to approve
I'm sorry, go
the
ahead, Mary.
amended budget, and then I need one to approve next year's.
So would these be
fiscal year.
resolutions? Yes.
I resolve that we approve the proposed budget amendments to the 2025, 2026 budget.
We have a motion and support of the resolution to accept the 2025-2026 budget as presented. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Trustee White.
Aye.
Trustee Beeks.
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw. Trustee Harmon.
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye. Treasurer Wiersma.
Aye.
Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye. So then I need a resolution to accept the 2026, 2027 budget as presented.
I'll make that resolution.
We have a resolution. Do we have support?
I'll support.
We have a resolution with support to accept the 2026, 2027 budget as presented. Is there any further discussion? Clerk Stage may do the roll call vote when you're ready.
Supervisor Hutchings.
Yes.
Treasurer Wiersma.
Yes.
Clerk Stage, aye. Trustee Harmon.
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw.
Yes.
Trustee Beeks.
Aye.
Trustee White.
Unanimous pass of the 2026, 2027 budget. We have exhausted our agenda. I'm seeking a motion to adjourn.
You might want to, just for the meeting, to say
Oh.
that you're not having public comment because there's nobody here.
Close the
Yeah.
public hearing.
Open
Right.
and close public hearing.
So
Right.
before we adjourn,
I'll propose that, or I'll motion that we close public hearing.
Second.
we have a motion and support to close the public hearing for our 2026, 2027 budget public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None, motion carries.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
No, if you have business, you go.
Okay, I just wanted everyone here at the table to know that my deputy is leaving, so I'm looking for a new deputy. So if you know of anybody who may be interested in coming on board, please have them give me a call here at the office.
Thank you for that update.
That's, no, Hannah.
Is that gonna be posted, Mary?
Yes.
We also will be recruiting high schoolers. You must have transportation to work at the park, $14 an hour, to sit out in the sun in a lawn chair, listen to your music, and interact with guests and pick up.
Oh,
The
you
park.
had me at the music.
Dimitri's back in.
Good,
He
and
loves his-
we will be posting that as well. Our agenda is now exhausted. Seeking a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Support.
Motion and support to adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting adjourned at 8:14 PM. Thank you.
You know, on the park, we need to reach out to, I think it's Goodwill Industries. There's different organizations that, can help kids with special needs, but they provide a job